Welcome to Talking NEPA. I'm Gary Perna. This week we are talking all about St. Luke's Health System, specifically Miners Memorial Campus. It's right in our backyard here in the greater Hazleton area. So we brought in 3 experts to talk about the campus, what you can expect if you visit St. Luke's Miners Memorial, and so much more that you don't know about St. Luke's University Health Network. That's all coming up on Talking NEPA. Stay with us.
It's Hemi from the family at All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Tamaqua. I don't know about you, but these so-called sales advertisements really rough me up. At All-American, we have a no-sale policy every day. That's right, dealer invoice pricing and no hidden rebates that you don't qualify for. So stop in at All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram sales spring event and let me take you for a walk around our lot.
Make the beer stop your stop for the best selection of beer in the area. Over 450 types of beer, a huge variety of styles to please everyone's tastes. Over 150 microbrews, including hard-to-find beers. Over 100 German and Belgian beers and frozen daiquiris to go. Do you like trying new beers? Make your own 6-pack at the beer stop with a large assortment of single bottles. The beer stop is open until midnight every day, all year long. Make the beer stop your stop. 16 North Broad Street in West Hazleton.
Have your event with Whitetail, graduation, birthday, bachelor, reunion parties? They have the most tranquil backyard experience with beautiful mountains in the background. If your company or business wants a different alternative to a golf outing, they have outings that can accommodate you. You can have the entire facility to yourself. They will work with you to set up your day of events. Sporting clay competitions, trap and wobble trap games, skeet. After a day of shooting, you'll return to a meal designed for you. Call Mike at 570-535-6123 for available group options.
In a world where an instant tweet can create a firestorm of news coverage, WYLN is moving with the times, allowing for more instant reporting of breaking news on television and on social media, as well as regular hourly news updates. News gets out faster than ever before, and WYLN brings it all to you. Live weekdays at 5:30 only on WYLN. We're your local network. And welcome back to Talking NEPA, everyone. I'm Gary Perna. Today I'm very pleased to have with me 3 guests from St. Luke's University Health Network who work and help run Miners Campus in Coaldale. And I am joined by Wendy Lazo, who's the president of St. Luke's Miners Campus, Dr. Adam Colombo, who is the director of emergency medicine at St. Luke's Coaldale, and Dr. Michael Sabel, who is the chief of medicine. And today we're going to talk a lot about the Miners Campus and about some of the programs that are offered there and the new look and the new feel to the hospital. So first of all, thank you all for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
So first of all, I guess I'll start with you, Wendy, just a little bit. As the president of the Miners Campus, talk about the recent expansion project that you guys just went through. I know it was a lot of hard work. There was a lot of planning that went into it to best fit the needs you need right here in our area.
Sure, yeah, we added 11 beds to our emergency department, so really almost doubled it in size. We now have a 25-bed emergency department. We have a second CAT scanner, which is something you rarely hear in a community hospital. That second CAT scanner really helps us as a level 4 trauma center to see patients very quickly, to provide more outpatient services, and also to provide a better experience for our patients.
And talk about the hospital as a whole. The hospital has been around for many years in Coaldale, and it still has that hometown feel to it, where yes, it is a large hospital, and we have to mention, you pointed out level 4, and that was the first level 4 hospital in the state, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so but it still has this feel as if you were still going to the family doctor down on Main Street when you walk into the facility.
Yeah, it's really important to us that we stay true to our identity in Coaldale. I mean, we've been serving the needs of our community for many years, and it's the mission of our University Health Network to make sure that we bring healthcare to the communities rather than expecting the communities to come to us. So we really want to make sure that the breadth and quality of services we provide at our campus meet the needs of our community, and we're true to what the Miners' vision was for Schuylkill County.
I want to go over to Dr. Colombo as the Director of Emergency Medicine for the Miners campus. Talk about the importance of having this community-based hospital where people can go and they're not being pushed out to other facilities. You're able to handle what you need to do right here in their own backyard. So they don't have to travel far. They can come right to the Miners campus and get their test or see whatever they need to do.
Correct. We work closely with our community, both family doctors as well as EMS, to help bring patients to us. Patients that arrive on their own are brought in immediately, just as an ambulance patient would be as well. The idea is to bring them directly into a room where triage occurs concurrently with a physician. We do that as often as possible. So the patient is only telling the story once, getting heard once, and everybody hears the plan together. The expectations are that the plan gets carried out within the department, and as often as possible the patient is kept there at St. Luke's in Miners in order to keep the patient in their community where family can still visit them and assist with their care, as well as we can tie directly into specialty services that we offer at the facility, and they can get their follow-up there at that facility when they're done in the emergency department.
Having the capability of doing everything right there at Miners, instead of having to transport them 95% of the time, you're able to do everything right there unless it's something major, correct?
We are able to manage most cases there, yes. We have general surgery every day of the week, things like that. Certain specialty services are available every day of the week, and we try to keep those patients for those services that are there. There are certain very high acuity patients that have to be transferred to a tertiary care center, and even then we try to coordinate where the patient is able to travel to, whether it's Bethlehem or Allentown, as is easier on the family and patient as long as the service is there.
For you, and Dr. Colombo, as being the guy kind of in charge of making sure the EDs run properly and everything is there, when this expansion project came about for Miners campus, what were some of the big things to you that jumped out that make sure everything flowed properly, and that when the people came to Miners, that they were able to get everything they needed in I'll say in a one-stop shop when they came to the ED department?
So a few things we looked at was coordinating the timing of the building. We did some internal renovations first to expand a few rooms, so we had some extra space while we were building the new building. And then as we transferred into there, we focused on having private patient rooms and having, as Wendy mentioned, the state-of-the-art CAT scanner in the emergency department. That is our priority use first, and then we can additionally use the hospital CAT scan machine if we have two events going on at once that require the CAT scan. And so all of our nurses are trained in the highest level of care that we can provide there for heart attacks, for strokes, for trauma, for sepsis patients, the severely ill, and working in collaboration with Mike and his team, we keep all of those patients as close to home as we can.
And I do want to move over to Dr. Sample. As the Chief of Medicine, you see a ton of stuff that goes through the doors every day, as well as seeing patients in the facility. But for you, having everything available now at the expansion, the great employees who work there and staff, and being able to communicate network-wide, I don't want to say makes your job easy, but you now have the capabilities to do a whole lot real simple, real fast at one location, correct?
Yeah, so I think what the network has brought to St. Luke's Miners as an individual campus is the ability to connect with that larger network, which has more resources. And really, we look at every patient kind of as an individual, really look at each case, and we decide case by case if we could care for the patient at Miners or if we need to transfer the patient to a higher level of care, whether that's St. Luke's Bethlehem or St. Luke's Allentown. We've actually put a lot of effort into really transferring patients as close as possible, as opposed to just transferring them straight to Bethlehem as well.
I want to back up for a minute because I blew past something that I want an explanation to. And Dr. Colombo, as a director of ED, could you explain what a level 4 trauma center is for everyone, and how many levels are there in our Commonwealth?
Certainly. So it's there are 5 levels altogether, and level 4 through 1 is really the ones that you hear about. A level 4 center has to go through a lot of the same accreditation as the highest level 1 center like St. Luke's Bethlehem, but instead of having all of those services that the tertiary care center has to have, we have the promise of being able to get patients to that level 1 trauma center within a 3-hour window. That means all of our processes up front need to be as crisp, as quick, and as aware of the patient's potential injuries as if you rolled into a level 1 trauma center. And once we identify any of those injuries that need to go to a level 1 center, we have that immediate connection with the level 1 center trauma surgeons and the collaboration to make a single phone call, and everything gets in motion to get the patient transferred there within that 3-hour window.
Okay. We're going to stop right there. I'm going to take a quick break, but when we come back here on Talking NEPA, we're going to delve more into St. Luke's campus and all the great stuff they have to offer right here in our area. Stay with us.
It begins with a click, and just like that, you are immersed in a world of wonder, education, entertainment, information. Connect with family and friends from around the block or around the world. So when it's time to connect, Service Electric will be there to make it happen. Now offering speeds up to 150 megabits per second. Service Electric, connecting you to what's important.
Go hog wild for Iron Pigs Baseball. WYLN is televising the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs live. America's favorite pastime on your local network, WYLN TV 35. See the Stars of Tomorrow at Coca-Cola Park. Don't miss any of the games here on WYLN TV 35. Visit WYLNTV.com for a complete Iron Pigs schedule. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs on WYLN, your home for live sports. Life in the Monastery, the new CD by the Sisters of Holy Annunciation Monastery, can be yours for only $18, which includes shipping and tax. Mail a check to Holy Annunciation Monastery, 403 West County Road, Sugarloaf, Pennsylvania 18249, or call 570-78-1205. This fantastic CD can be yours for only $18.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about visiting a restaurant that has a unique flavor? These are just some of the things we'll be featuring on our show. Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Jeff Bonomo and his co-host, Alan Giannetti, welcome you into the world of craft beer, great wine, and good food. Wine, Hops, and Road Stops.
Welcome back to Talking NEPA, everyone. I'm Gary Perna, and I have a guest with me today from St. Luke's Miners Campus in Coaldale, and we had a conversation going about the benefits of having a level 4 trauma center right in our backyard, and I want to continue a little bit on that with Dr. Colombo. Having that benefit right here for the area has to be tremendous, especially for emergency care ambulances, you know, when something happens and there are split-second decisions that need to be made.
True, and as I mentioned, it's more of the promise that we're going to identify those severe conditions that need to be transferred to a higher level of care, like a level 1 trauma center. And a good example was a case that we had where a woman was heavily entrapped in a car after a car accident, severe injuries to one side of her body, and EMS called ahead detailing those injuries and concern for circulation in her one leg because they couldn't find a pulse in her foot. They wanted to drive directly to a level 1 trauma center, which would be over an hour in the ambulance. I diverted him to our campus where we were able to restore blood flow to that limb quickly in the emergency department, keeping the crew there, loaded her back in the ambulance, now with a pulse in that foot, and sent her to the trauma center. I happened to see the patient months later for a different reason, and she was walking on the leg. We were able to successfully save the leg, making that diversion.
Wonderful. And they're the stories that we like to hear of how teamwork between pre-hospital, hospital, and how everything can work and flow together is a big thing. I mean, years ago, we didn't have those stories. Today, thanks to technology and how medicine is involved, we have those that we're able to say, you know, as a great teamwork, this was able to happen. And sticking kind of with that theme of teamwork, the hospital also is accredited in 2 different things, and Dr. Sabel, both for heart attack and stroke, am I correct?
Yep, that is correct. And I think that's really just a continuation on really the trauma process and the process of care that we have in place for any patient that's going to come through our door. And it starts in the emergency room with Dr. Colombo's team. And if we're able, we continue it on the inpatient side after the patient gets admitted. But specifically for heart attack patients and for stroke patients, we have a very detailed process of care that we follow so we have good outcomes. And if we are able to keep that patient at the Miners campus initially, stabilize them, they might need a heart catheterization, which is a specialized test to check blood flow to the heart. We can treat them initially and then transfer them down, if not that night or the next day. With regards to stroke care, we have access to the same neurologists that care for people at our big network hospitals via telemedicine. That's a tremendous resource that we've worked hard to kind of add. Again, just by having that neurology input, we might be able to keep patients at our campus, just get the specialty input, get them really the same care that they're going to get, because there's no special procedure that the patient needs, but it's having that expert opinion available so that we really give you the best care possible, not just good care, the best.
Sticking with that about having the best care, if anybody has recently driven through Tamaqua, it looks like St. Luke set up campus and is taking over the town by just all the great new establishments that are coming in and being able to have some of those facilities right there, not only in Tamaqua but kind of throughout our area as well. And when I talk about it, I use Tamaqua a lot. My doctor is through St. Luke's and is at one of the facilities in Tamaqua. And every time I walk down there and park in the parking lot, I see there's always something new. There's a new thing added to it. And along those lines, Wendy, we've seen a lot of rural health, and that has been a lot of things I know in the news department we've been talking a lot about, thanks to St. Luke's. But explain a little bit to me about why we're seeing such a big push on rural health and getting people into some of these facilities, clinics or whatever you want to have, getting them there to get the care that they need.
So it's our mission, as I had said earlier, to really bring care to the community. So it's very important to us that we reach out to our, Lansford community, to our Nesquehoning community, our surrounding areas, to make sure that primary care, which is I think in dire need in our region and largely underserved, is available to our patients, because access is also part of our strategy. Our mission here is to make sure that patients have easy access to care so that we're not a barrier for patients to receive good care. So we now have 4 rural health centers as part of the Miners campus umbrella. We have one in Nesquehoning, one in Tamaqua, one in Ringtown that opened this past September, and then just last month opened a rural health center in Lansford. And
these facilities are great because, again, I'll use the term kind of one-stop shopping, that you're able to go there, you're seeing that primary care provider. I know in Tamaqua it's great. I could see Dr. Calabrese, then I go next door and I can get blood work if I need it, or whatever specialists who may be in there. So these are great ways for people, and today, I mean, everybody can attest to it, that I think we're busier more than we've ever been. So being able to get everything done and see people and being in your own community, you don't have to drive far, is really beneficial to everybody to make us a little healthier.
Absolutely, and we know that there's a large part of our population that doesn't even have access to transportation. So it's really important for us to set up shop, if you will, in places where we can be easily accessed by our patients. Our rural health centers see all patients. It's family medicine, so patients of all ages, from cradle to grave, as we say, regardless of their ability to pay or what insurance product you may or may not have. We will see you, because it's our mission to make sure that you get good care. We also have a lab draw site in all of our rural health centers to keep things easy for our patients. Several of our rural health centers are offering fluoride varnishes on teeth as well to try to improve dental care, since also dental care is an underserved specialty in this region as well.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the residency program you have with Rural Health. And this is something you don't hear a lot of, but it's something you guys were also able to take the lead on, correct?
Yes, and university is part of our name as a network, and now at the Miners campus we have 2 residents each year for 3 years, so a total of 6 residents once our program is at full tilt. So we have 2 this year. We've recently matched with 2 for next year. It's an extension of our family medicine program, and it's a special training in rural medicine. So our residents will train in these rural community hospitals and outpatient sites. They will be in our rural health centers to learn how to practice medicine in this area, because there is a uniqueness to medicine in rural regions. And the goal then is that if you train these physicians in the area, that they are more likely to stay in the area. And we certainly have a shortage of physicians nationwide. It's more prevalent in rural communities. So we're trying to build our own team of physicians in our area.
And that sounds wonderful. And you can remember, most of us, I mean, even I do, it being a little bit younger, but having that doctor right in town, Doc Johnson down on Main Street or something, where you were able to walk down and talk with them and get everything, where you didn't have to drive far away. And this is another great part of that. All right, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come right back here to finish up our discussion with St. Luke's and all about the great things happening throughout Miners campus. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's Hemi from the family at All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Tamaqua. I don't know about you, but these so-called sales advertisements really rough me up. At All-American, we have a no-sale policy every day. That's right, dealer invoice pricing and no hidden rebates that you don't qualify for. So stop in at All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram sales spring event and let me take you for a walk around our lot.
Hi, I'm Kiefer. Join us this week on Let's Talk Chiropractic as we share our experiences hanging with Dr. D.
To a child battling a critical illness, a wish can feel like a dream. But it's so much more. Wishes are an important part of medical treatment. A chance for kids to see themselves differently. Wishes can give kids the strength to fight, to get better, to grow up. Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Watch Off the Beaten Path on WYLN TV 35 and discover the Pennsylvania you never knew existed.
And welcome back here to Talking NEPA, everyone. We're finishing up our discussion with the folks from St. Luke's Miners campus, and I'm going to go back to Wendy. You have recently gotten some good praises, I will say, especially from a patient you guys have seen, and it was something that you guys have taken real great pride in, correct?
Yes, and we get a lot of really amazing patient experience feedback from families and patients. But there's one particular patient had her elderly mother in our hospital, and it was one of the first times that she had frequented our hospital. She's from this area, and said that her experience was second to none, and that her care will only be now given at St. Luke's Miners campus, and then she was spreading the word throughout her family. And what she said to me that stood out was that we saw the person in the patient, and that our team treated her mother like a person and their family like people instead of just like they're one of many. And that really stuck with me because that's really the culture of our hospital and our organization, is that it's patient-centered care. And clearly we met that patient's expectations and actually I think surpassed them, which is what we try to do every day.
And something else we talked about during the break, but which kind of shocked me as being the president of the hospital, you frequently walk around and stop in at different departments and see how things are going. So keeping your finger kind of on the pulse of how the hospital's being ran.
Absolutely. I mean, it's my job to make sure that my team has the resources that they need to take great care of patients. I'm certainly not a clinician. I'm not providing care to these patients directly. It's my responsibility to make sure that my team has what they need to provide great care. And, you know, I think I can say that Dr. Colombo and Dr. Sable both embrace the principles of our mission more than anything. You know, we have the highest patient experience in this region. We have the best patient experience scores in our ER in the entire network. We have the highest quality care scores in this region, and that's not for nothing. It's because of all the hard work of our team.
And quickly, Dr. Colombo, seeing running the ED, making sure people get that quality care, very important for you.
Absolutely. It starts with the registration clerk who signs the patient in, all the way through the nurses who care for the patient, the radiology team that comes in and out of the department, and even our volunteers who help around and bring necessary things they can to the patients. Everybody is involved, everybody is responsible, and everybody is accountable, so we work together as a team.
And Dr. Sable, you are also on the ground floor making sure everything's running. And kind of, I don't want to ask the same question, but for you on your aspect, part of it, being the chief of medicine, make sure that people are getting what they need when they're walking in the doors at Miners. Big part, and hearing the feedback, also a great thing.
Yeah, so from our inpatient side, it's getting the resources, just like I need Wendy's help to get resources for my team, for the ER team. It's just getting the care to the patient in the hospital that they need, and then it even goes beyond the walls of the hospital to get them care in the community, and that ties in with having our family medicine program and the residency program and training people so that not only when you're sick, we're not just going to take care of you then, we're going to take care of you before you get sick, take care of your family, and really prevent you from being in the hospital to begin with.
All right. We are just about out of time. I want to thank you, all three of you, for coming on and talking about St. Luke's. Wendy, if somebody wants to learn more about the Miners campus, about the network in general, where's the best place for them to go? Our website,
www.sluhn.org, and you can see all of our campuses there. We are a 10 hospital network, but soon to be 11. But Miners is featured there. And have a look. We're a beautiful facility, and we'd welcome anybody to come visit. All right. I always say it's kind of one of those hidden gems in Coaldale up on the mountain to get to it. Again, thank you all for coming in and talking with me. I welcome you back anytime to our show to talk about the great things happening at St. Luke's and especially at Miners campus and right here in our area always. All right, everyone, you've heard it. You have tons of choices when it comes to health care. That's part of our job here, is to make sure you have all the information you need to make the best decision for you and your family. One of our main goals here at Talking NEPA. Thanks for joining us here in WYLN, everyone. We'll see you next time.